Hello everyone, my name is Malin Han and this is my animation video. Before I go into the actual design of my building, I would like to talk about the purpose of this project itself. We have a client who is currently in a wheelchair and is unable to move certain limbs or functions. Due to the privacy of this client, I will not be mentioning any names or any personal information besides interests or likes. So for this floor plan, I decided to go with a sundial theme, which the client normally wakes up with the sun, so I thought it would be interesting to have a floor plan that is shaped in the style of where an old style sundial would be designed and shaped by. And so on the actual site, I have it angled at 30 degrees so that when the sun rises and sun sets, the client would be able to get a full view of the whole animation throughout the sun. And so I currently have it so you can see the actual outline of like the top part of the site to show the 30-degree angles, but still being able to see the floor plan from the front view of it. I got rid of the grass so it's able to see the site plan, what is a lot more efficient this way than if I just had grass. You wouldn't be able to tell where the outlines and the markers would be to show the outlining of the site. So let's get a bit more into the floor plan. So I broke the floor plan up into 4 groups. It does look like 5, but I promise you there is 4. To the far right, in the bottom right hand corner, there is a little chunk there, and that little chunk is the client suite. Now this client suite is acclimated to this client's wheelchair, and so this client would be able to go through any of the spaces and be comfortable to be able to turn around and do all that stuff that he would need to be able to do. In the right side, but on like the top part, is another cluster that is for the caretaker suite, and the caretaker suite is fully acclimatable for any wheelchairs, as well as like crutches or anything like that. This whole design was created so that pretty much the client would be able to go anywhere within the house, even in parts that are not specifically created for him. In the far left, on the bottom, is like this long looking stretch there. We, for the client's needs, our client wants to help others who are in a similar situation that he himself in when it comes to being in a wheelchair and not being able to move or have much mobility. This client wants to be able to do an outreach center for people, and then one of his family members who is also living here, which would be staying in the caretaker suite, also wanted to be able to continue with his business, which is creating music. So all of the client-based shared areas is in that bottom left section, that long stretch there, as well as a garage and this huge middle area that you see here that is also a shared space that is acclimatable for pretty much everybody to like be able to relax and pretty much enjoy their time being here. And it's a easier way to connect to the 3 areas. And the last area is the top left area, which is a guest suite, which is for anybody who wants to stay with the client and his family members, and they would be staying there. Now, the 2 areas that look like they're not actually attached to the floor plan, that is because they are not. They are an outside area. They are gazebos for the client and anybody who's wanting to go outside in this site, they would be able to enjoy the nice area with those gazebos on either side. So starting off, like I said, the client wanted to help others with their mobility issues or any issues that they might have that have a similar instance that the client has that he would like to offer them, like advice, anything. They would be able to stay into 2 modular houses that were also needed for this project. This is a very close-up view of one of the modular houses. It's pretty much 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, living room, kitchen, and utility area. Now, I wanted to make this sundial house plus the modular houses to have a same feel. So a lot of the rooms are duplicates. They all have the same materials, all the same layouts. So I will only pretty much be showing a layout of each room. So like you pretty much just see 1 living room, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and they are all the same within all the regions or spaces, but I will be going through which rooms are where. So this is the basic bedroom that I have for the modular houses, as well as the main floor, main dwelling, which is a simple bed that is easy to get in and out of for anybody who has any mobility issues. Since there is no handrails, they'll be able to easily get on and off. And it's also on the ground, very closer to the ground than it would be higher up raised beds, so it is easy to climb into and especially easy to climb out to, especially getting in and out of a wheelchair. And then we have a side table here. The side table is far enough away from the bed so that anybody with a wheelchair can pull up in that little space there if they need to. And it's also long enough that they can store multiple items into it. Now for the bedroom, I wanted to keep it very minimalistic because I wanted the client or anybody who's staying in these bedrooms be able to do a full turn with their wheelchair in like the entire space, or any of like the gaps there, like the walkways, because I know one of the biggest issues with people with wheelchairs is being able to turn around or back up. The only other piece of furniture is a desk, which or not a desk, I'm sorry, a chair, which is in the far right corner. Some did not have that if I feel like the rooms were not big enough for them to do a full circle size, especially with the modular houses. The size that I was given for the floor plan, I wanted to make it so that they would still be able to turn around and back up if they need to. So I only had some rooms that were big enough to add the chair, to have the chair within it. And yeah, so with this whole sundial main dwelling idea, I have a lot of windows, so you pretty much will see a window in pretty much all of these views here, because the whole point of a sundial is to have lots of daylight, lots of natural sunlight coming in, to be able to have pretty much go through your day as the sun does. So like I said before, most of the rooms are pretty much the same throughout. So this is the bathroom. It is the same in both the modular houses and within the main dwellings. The only difference might be like the paint color based off of the client's preference. But there's always a shower that is a huge walk-in. You can see the glass there, that the door is big enough for any wheelchair to roll in and roll out. And in the shower is big enough for anybody to turn around in. I thought that was a big issue. Like I said, mobility is like one of the big key factors in this build. And then I made sure to have the sink raised up enough so that anyone with a wheelchair can roll up to it and roll back without having any issues. And the toilet is big enough to be able to, like I said, roll up, roll back. And what I added, which wasn't able to really add into the floor plans or any of these designs because it's a inserted wall railing. So what that is basically the push of a button like on your phone or your cellular device. A wall bar comes in and out of the wall for anybody that would need a bar to lift themselves onto or off to the bathroom. I thought this was a good idea because some people who may not have mobility issues that would be living in these buildings may not always find the bar the most comforting to be around or have next to, or might be in the way for them, which is quite interesting because for people who have mobility issues getting on and off the toilet, they find the bar comforting. So it's kind of like a nuisance for one side or the other. So I thought if there's a way where you can insert the bar and put it in and out based off of electronics, I thought that would be a good idea for everybody in. So that is where the bar goes. For the kitchen is a basic layout. Some of these photos, I will admit, were hard to, or some of these angles were hard to get due to the proximity of the walls. So some of the angles are not the greatest, but basically the kitchens are really basic. Stove, sink, pretty much being able to have a fridge, and then a tables and chairs that are risen up so that you can remove any of the chairs and put a wheelchair there instead. And there is enough mobility to go around the table, but you wouldn't be able to back up, or not back up, you wouldn't be able to turn around. So it's kind of like it's a square, so you kind of have to like go around the table in order to get out. The kitchens were designed so that like you'd have to pretty much interact with anybody. It's kind of like a social gathering area, so being able to have that ability to go around and see everybody was one of the things that I was looking for. And like I said, a lot of windows all around. And so for the basic living room, we have what looks like carpet, but I promise it's not carpet. It is a tile that has the same like texture as carpet, so that it kind of gives it a different feel from the wood that is just naturally on the ground there, so that anybody with a wheelchair or crutches would be able to move onto the surface and not be able to get stuck anywhere, which is a huge factor. And then, like I said, I wanted a lot of space for people to move around so that the couch was easily accessible, as well as any of the surrounding furniture. And you can kind of see table and chairs in the corner. Like I said, it's a table and that you can easily just like pull the chairs out and slide a wheelchair in there. So it's anybody's able to sit anywhere. For the laundry room, it is pretty much wall to wall with items. So you kind of have to go in and then you'd be able to like turn around and then leave. There's not a lot of space where you can move around because it's a utilities room. All you really do is you do your laundry, you put some storage, and you pretty much leave. You're not sitting there very much, so it's not a very detailed, decorated room design. So that was pretty much going through what is all in the modular houses, and then like the basic like living room, kitchen, bathroom, that is all in the main dwelling. But like I'm gonna also go over some rooms that are not in the modular houses, but that are in the main dwelling, which is one of these rooms, we have a lot of entrances into this main dwelling. I thought it was a very good idea to have a bunch of entrances for having the different sectors. So like there's an entrance in the client suite, an entrance for the shared spaces, and then for those like that are guest or a caretaker, they would just go through this entrance that I'm showing here, which is like in the middle of the house floor plan, that you just walk right into that big huge shared space that's connected through all the other suites. So in this little walkway area, there's a place to put shoes, a place to sit down, and then there is hanging coat racks where you can put your coat up. It's kind of just like one of those like greeting areas that you would like bring people in. People could take their coats off, their shoes off, and then you would usher them inside. And then I put a rug down that is really thin to the point where it's basically at floor level, so that anybody would be able to wheel on and off if need be. It also helps prevent the dirt and all of the stuff coming outside from getting inside. So like I said, the shared space is very huge. It is mainly just for movements or circulation. But there is some features that are suitable for anybody to use, anybody in the suites or anybody that's like a guest that is coming over. We have the basic kitchen with the fridge and all of like the sinks and stuff, as well as a bunch of spaces to sit and 2 TVs within the middle, kind of creating like a lounge lobby like area for anybody who is like a client that is here to see my client about like a therapy session, or if my client's relative who is wanting to open a recording studio has a client, they'll be sitting in here, kind of like a lobby. And there's an accessible bathroom that is just a half bath, so there's no shower in it for anybody to really use. And for any of the suites, there is a washer and dryer on the other side of the bathroom, sharing that utility electrical wall, so that anybody who wants to do their laundry outside of their suite, they are more than happy to do so. Okay, so this is the client suite, the far right that I was talking about earlier. For each suite section, I have this walkway that is this brown section connecting to the actual main shared space. And then connecting to that is the living room, where we have a rug, a couch, TV that is able to be moved around if need be, that are on wheels, or if the client wanted to like shake up the design and like move things around. It is also accessible to move a wheelchair all throughout that space, as well as turn around, back up, do whatever is needed. I was given this idea for doors by my professor to add a pocket doors. So I have a lot of pocket doors. They're basically all the main inside doors besides the ones that are leading outside. These pocket doors are really not insulated, but they do make it nice for anybody to come in and out of the rooms. And these doors are also accessible through your phone, so you just have to press a button and then the doors could open or close, preferably whatever you would like. And so if you keep going on the straight line from the living room, there is a room there that is actually a gaming room. The client and his family really like to play video games, and preferably sports video games. So I wanted to create a room for him to be able to enjoy with his family or just by himself. It is also can be used as an office space if he wanted to work more with his like clients that he'll be having, I have a separate office for the private conversations, but just in case like the wanted to move some of the stuff into this office with his gaming area, I'm more than happy to do so. I also have on the top part of the screen, there is the bedroom that I showed earlier. The furniture is always the same. The only difference would be like the floor type or the paint of the walls. And right connecting from the bedroom is the bathroom. Like I said, it's the same when it comes to the shower and all the utilities. It's just different flooring or wall color preferred for the client. Our client is a big fan of blue, so a lot of the rooms are in fact colored blue, different shades. It depends on how like many windows are within that space. So like if there's a lot of windows, we could go with like a darker blue. If it's only like a few windows, we'll go with a more lighter blue to keep in that natural sunlight going. On the bottom, to the far left, there is a entrance area. So somebody who wants to, so like our client wants to not go through the main shared areas and just go straight to his suite. He is happy to do so through that room. And then there's a little area for you to take your shoes off and your coats. And then the room right next to it is the utilities room where you can have your washer and dryer, as well as like some storage to put like clothes or any of like stuff that you don't really know where to put, like suitcases. And to the other side, I had a sunroom. One of the big features, like I said, is sun. So having like a room where you can just sit and like look outside but not actually being outside, because I definitely one of those people that is one of the options. And there's a connection leading outside that is with paved cement going to the gazebo. The paved cement is easy to roll on and off because I have seen from experience that people with wheelchairs have a bit harder time when it comes to moving with grass. So I wanted to create a pavement so that the rolling on and off or in and out of the rooms and whole house would be easy and accessible. So this is like a close-up of like where the walkway would be. It is a pretty huge, thick walkway. It is on either side is glass, and this glass is to kind of keep the sun effect with a lot of light, a lot of natural sunlight, and then it's leading into the client's living room. And there's only one door on the other side of the walkway to keep it private. So those doors are also automated. With the push of a button, they will open up. Is 2 double doors wide. But I didn't want to add another set of doors for the client to have to go through. So it's just one set of doors that separates the suites from the shared spaces. Here is the living room. This is a different living room than the ones in the modular house. Normally most of the rooms are the same. This one is slightly different because it is smaller and it has less seating for everybody because it is just supposed to be for like the client and then like maybe a few others, not like a whole group of people. So it is a basic couch with a television, but it is definitely able to be moved around with a wheelchair or any type of crutch. And with the style, the client is obviously a boy, and so it is definitely a bachelor pad style rooms that we have designed. We didn't want it to be too cutesy because they seemed to be on the more edgier side when it comes to the design that they enjoy living in. So it's pretty basic. There's not too much color, pretty much neutral colors minus the occasional blue or tan. depending on what you claim to have as a nude color. So here is the gaming system within the office. I really wanted to have a close-up of all the features because depending on what type of gamer our client is, they would want a lot of surround sound, speakers, huge desk for them to move the mouse pad on in order to play the game, as well as two computers to be able to look at two different screens. And then if anyone who is not a gamer and is wondering, that little thing on the far right is a machine that helps run all the systems for your games, especially because you don't want your computers to overheat. It is a very high technical thing that is beyond me, but it is definitely something that needed to be included. The desk is easy and accessible to have a wheelchair to roll up to if need be. I do know our client enjoys sitting in a gamer chair, which is right in this photo here, or sorry, this view here. And so yeah, it's just plenty of room for them to do all their gaming. So here is the gazebo. There is two of them, one on each side of the floor plan. Basically, it is easy to roll onto from the cement, and it is all the same level as the cement, and it is something that you can easily park a wheelchair in, and some furniture for those to relax in if they do not want to sit in their wheelchair, or do not have a wheelchair, they're able to do so. And I wanted to have one with these curtains because sometimes, depending on where you live, preferably in Michigan, we do have a lot of mosquitoes during the summertime. So having like the netting to be put down during the nights would be really beneficial when it comes to the bugs that acclimate in the area. So this is the caretaker suite. The caretaker suite included 2-bedroom, 2-bath, kitchen, and a living room, as well as a utility space. All the rooms are the same when it comes to the modular houses, when it comes to materials and like the layout of them. So I won't be going into each individual room because it is the same thing over and over again, and I assure you that probably will be extremely boring. Here is the guest suite. The guest suite just needed a 1-bed, 1-bath, living room, kitchen, as well as a utilities room, and then also we included a sunroom for this guest suite because for a guest suite I always picture a hotel room, so I kind of wanted to give that experience because I didn't think that adding a pool would be beneficial for a client, especially since they have mobility issues as it is. Adding a water feature that they may not be able to use, I thought was a bit insulting to them. So giving the areas that are not used by the client, still be able to have the client use it if they wanted to, and not have missing out on anything, basically. So another sunroom, just like the other one, just different flooring and walls. So like I said, the client would like to help other people that are in a similar situation or the same as the clients. So we created a very private office. For me personally, I find having a multiple windows in an office for like a private meeting a bit distracting. I'd always get distracted staring out the window instead of listening to whoever was speaking. So this is a fully enclosed, non-windowed room, especially for those private meetings, because that is what would be happening within this room, which is what I wanted to point out, because all the rooms pretty much have windows based off the sun idea, minus the more very private rooms like this one. It is a desk that is basically able to roll up with a wheelchair. It's a definitely more modern style desk and chair office area. I thought it would be a nice touch with the basic nude colors for the man cave style house that we were going with. And blue is normally a color that is used for calmness. The client really likes the color, and I thought it would be beneficial for people that are maybe stressed in a situation. Having one of these meetings would be able to enjoy or relax a bit more with the wall coloring. And there's 2 chairs there just in case for anybody who's like a parent of the client that will be visiting my client, to like go through basic therapy or something like that. For our client's family member is really big into making music, so we created a recording studio for him, and it is accessible to have a whole area that you can like adjust the music. You can listen to people sing. Normally he said that like people would record their music, but then they would give it to him, and then he would adjust it at his place, which is why there's no like sound booth area. It is just like a recording area for them to adjust the music throughout the computers. There is a room connecting to it that is just a couch in it for them to like relax, but it's still like an open area for them to be able to listen to the music while in relaxing, especially if he's having clients over. He doesn't want them all up in this space. He would probably want them a bit further back. That photo is not, or that view is not shared because it looks a lot like one of the living rooms, and so I didn't want people to get confused. So it is basically one of the living rooms that was shared, the one that would be in the client's bedroom, or the client's suite, but just like connected throughout one whole room. And another thing that was needed to be included was a garage. There are 2 outside garages for the modular houses, and another one that is for the client. However, this is the only garage that is connected to the actual main dwelling. I thought that was needed to be shared, because one of the bigger things that the client would like is a lot of places for him to be able to move to. So I thought having a garage on the other side of his suite would actually get him to actually start moving around a bit more, to be a little bit more healthier when it comes to his activeness, because before he will be going into one of these houses, he did not have much space earlier on. So having like a huge amount of space, plus having to have it so he would have to physically go somewhere to get to the garage in order to go to one of his appointments, is one of like the bigger things I thought would be handy for him. And I believe that is everything. Thank you for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed the sundial house and modular units. Thank you.